Hello, everyone. This is Amanda with TechZulu.com, and I am sitting here with Mike Jones, who has officially announced his new incubator, Science. How are you, Mike?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us virtually. Let's see how this plays out. I would really love to start off with the whole notion of why an incubator. You know, there are a lot of incubators that are cropping up here in LA. It's not like there's a shortage of them. And you just came off of leading the helm at MySpace, and you could have just gone the investment route. So why jump into something like this where you're going to put a lot of time and effort into an incubator?
Sure. And I mean, we actually think ourselves a little bit more like a studio. And let me
Okay?
tell you a bit about the difference. So,
Sure.
although kind of incubation is a component of what we do, in
Mm-hmm.
that we come up with concepts and build and work with entrepreneurs as teams around ideas, we
Right.
also handle a bit of strategic advisory work where we
Okay.
identify early stage companies, we'll do early stage investing and work with those businesses.
Right.
And then the third component is we also look at later stage assets. So we look at companies that are maybe Web 1.0 companies, maybe they're small cap public companies
Sure.
that we believe we can add a lot of innovation to, and kind of new types of products, where we'll come in and take a position and see if we can work with those teams as well. So
Right.
in a certain sense, it's more of a studio group, incubation being a part of it. And the reason why I dove into it is I really enjoy early stage investing, and I enjoy starting companies, and I enjoy working with entrepreneurs. And I felt like being more hands-on was more akin to kind of my team and my skill set versus just being a pure investor.
Right, right. Well, thank you for that, because there are a lot of differences. And I know at TechZulu we get a lot of questions in terms of what incubator should I join?
Hmm.
So there are lots of, we've got so many that are cropping up here, and some that have already been established, like an Idea Lab has been here for a while, but now we have, Upstart LA has joined into the mix. Start Engine just launched as well.
Hmm.
You've got Science, which great name, by the way.
Thanks.
So can you maybe, for the people who don't even understand the space as much, maybe explain why someone would join an incubator or, something like yours that's more of this tech studio?
Sure. Well, I mean, let's in most cases, let's think of these as accelerators, right?
Sure.
So you have a 2 or 3 person team, or maybe a person with a concept.
Right.
They need a little structure around them. They want to go
Okay.
through a program, and so the typical accelerators in town, and there's quite a few of them,
Hmm.
basically will take on classes, right? So you apply,
Sure.
and in January you might get accepted. You'll give away a component of equity for their services and for the kind of training you'll get with them. They'll work with you on the business. They'll surround you with mentors, and they'll typically provide you with a very small amount of financing, call it 15 to even maybe up to $50,000, depending on the accelerator you're with. Then I think after that, the actual hard work starts, right? Which is that now you need to find your seed funding, or you need to start generating revenue, and then you need to go off and build a business. So I think that for LA, where you have a very small amount of kind of experienced advisors,
Sure.
these accelerator programs are great because they train entrepreneurs on how to kind of get going. I think the tough part is that we still are in a difficult angel funding environment here in LA. So
Okay.
finding that initial $200,000, $500,000 of financing is still quite difficult.
Okay.
With us, we're, as I said, more of a studio. So we look to build and incubate companies internally. We don't do it on any kind of time frame. We do it kind of a soup to nuts program where we get involved and we take a long-term position in the business. So
Right.
we're a little bit different, but we'll probably work with quite a few of the accelerators and hopefully
Sure.
find some great teams there that we want to bring into our structure.
Great. Well, I know you and I have talked in the past, we've done fireside chats about Los Angeles. You stay here
Hmm.
and you're a big proponent of LA. And what do you see in terms of the environment with LA? You just touched upon the fact that it's kind of hard when you're a baby startup. There's less angel funding here. With all of these incubators and accelerators that are cropping up in your studio and whatnot, what do you see happening in LA now? Do you see that the infrastructure is kind of coming together more? What would you like to see happen moving forward?
Well, I think the belief will be that if we build these accelerators, then the financing will come, right?
Okay.
So the more interesting startups that get born within LA, we're going to attract more and more capital to the market. More
Right.
capital will build bigger and bigger businesses, and those bigger businesses will build successful entrepreneurs, which will thus provide more early stage capital, and thus we'll build more businesses, and we'll get that cycle going.
Sure.
That's the hope, right? And so I think my hope would be that maybe one of the current kind of already hot startups in LA, the BetterWorks, the Shoe Dazzles, the Beachmints, etc.,
Yep.
that they'll go off and and they'll become $1 billion valued business, and we'll see this incredible tentpole kind of happening in LA,
Great.
or that one of these new companies that gets formed within science, within different accelerators, within general startups will go off and really tentpole Los Angeles. So My
Sure.
belief is that in the next few years, we'll see some very big companies come out of LA, the same way that we've been seeing some interesting big companies come out of non-Silicon Valley cities like
Right.
Chicago or DC, et cetera. So I think that's what I'm really hoping for. Hopefully the accelerators help on that. Hopefully the kind of more and more funding that comes to LA kind of helps that happen.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, let's get into science itself a little bit more. You are quite literally sort of taking the Hollywood model or mimicking the Hollywood model that the movie studios use in terms of sort of conceiving companies in-house as well as helping those established companies. Where did that idea come from to take that model and apply it to tech?
Well, in my time working with early stage businesses and a lot of early stage investing, I found that often the staff that was getting involved with these new companies was spending a lot of time on general operations and strategy,
Right.
general company setup. They really weren't spending time doing product development and kind of what I believe were the core metrics to make the company successful. So my belief was if we had a platform where you had a very strong senior team that could help the companies go, and that you really let those entrepreneurs, build on top of that platform, that we would be able to see more success in a faster pace than you would if they were
Sure.
independent. And it also allows you to really think through these concepts in more depth than typically
Right.
the independent startup would be able to do. So I've been thinking about this for a while. I loved the inspiration that BetaWorks provides and that Idea Lab provides. I mean, these are unique structures. There's some other ones in San Francisco, like Obvious, that's kind of taking the same path. And so, I've been looking at this model for a while, and I felt like specifically it worked really well for me, and it worked for the team I was with, and luckily we found really supportive investors that decided it was a good idea as well.
Great. Well, speaking to the investment side of it, you do have some money in your back pocket from some investors. So, how many of the companies that you're going to incubate are you looking to actually put money behind as well?
Well, I mean, I think in most cases we'll probably get involved financially with everything that we,
Sure.
that we decide to spend time on, and it'll all be at kind of different levels because a lot of them are at very different stages, and then we bring in different partners on different deals. So
Okay.
if it's a later stage asset, we might bring on a private equity partner, et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get involved, and I think that
Great.
luckily we have strong relationships with also the Valley investment groups. So my belief is that we'll also provide kind of a conduit service where, as we meet with startups and work with early stage teams in Los Angeles, we'll help bring them up to Silicon Valley and the Los Angeles-based investment community and find the right partners for them.
Right. Now, do you see Silicon Valley sort of paying closer attention to LA and perhaps getting more involved and interested in the startups that are here because of the accelerators here?
I think so, and I think having an operation like ours that's kind of permanently placed here in Santa Monica, and our doors are open, and we spend a lot of time with the venture groups, it'll make a very comfortable way for them to come and spend time,
Sure.
within the city. Yeah.
And of course, we are in LA and Hollywood. People are wondering, do you have the Hollywood connections and obviously the former MySpace connections that you might be pulling in for some of this?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked with different talent agencies, and we do work with different celebrities, and so it just depends. I mean, it's on a project by project basis, but yeah, we're talking to a lot of people right now.
Okay. And lastly, too, I noticed that Sean Percival and Tony Adam have both officially listed themselves as entrepreneurs in residence at Science, obviously former
That's right.
MySpacers as well.
Yep.
Any sense there in terms of timing when we'll hear more about what they're up to?
Well, they've been working on some interesting projects. My belief is probably sooner than later.
Okay.
I think that we're being a little bit quiet on everything that's happening internally right now. But when we put out our kind of initial businesses, I think they'll be pretty exciting ones. And those are two people that I've worked with for a long time and have a lot of faith in their ability to build great businesses. So it should be fun.
Perfect. And finally, if anyone wants to apply to Science or get in touch with you, pitch an idea, where should they go?
We have a website up at science-inc.com, so that's a good place to start. And then come and find us.
Great. Well, I'm sure that they're probably knocking down your door. Well, congratulations again, Mike, and we will definitely stay in touch and want to know further developments as they come out of Science.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
And everybody, this is Amanda Cooling with TechZulu. Check in with us again soon. Bye-bye.